What is up, guys? Welcome back to Lex Selectors. The Championship is never ever failing to disappoint. We've got a lot to talk about. Not only some shocking results, we have another managerial departure that we're going to talk about as well. Another international break has now loomed. And would this mean, are we going to see some more managers start to leave and, get sacked under the pressure as well? This is going to be a really interesting time for the Championship now. We're nearly a third way through the season, and for nearly a third way of the season, we are a third of the way through in the Prediction League, and this is what the Lex Selectors Championship is looking like at the moment. I had a measly 5 points. I only got one correct score this weekend. People that did really well included Charlie Brown and Cameron, who got 10 points. But big shout outs go to Jamie Kame and James Fee, who both got 11 points. This is what the League One league is looking like. A couple of people that did really well there was OTR Plays and also Daniel Fisher. They both got 7 points in that league. And for the first time ever, guys, I'm introducing the Lex Selectors League 2 league, where it's only got 2 members in this league at the moment, but it is a very exclusive club, as you can see. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give these videos a like. It does really help the channel. I'm probably going to take a really short break due to the international break looming, just so I can look after myself and also my uni studies as well. But keep your eyes out for my live streams. That's going to be the best way you see me. And also keep a lookout for the 800 subscriber special. I still yet to record that. But please also subscribe and please share this channel to as many people as you can. All of that really helps. But without any further ado, let's start trying to debunk what went on in this weekend's games. So the first game we talk about is Hull picking up a very vital 2-0 win against relegation rivals Barnsley. A result that probably shouldn't make a load of sense, but the way they approached the game, I was so impressed with Hull. And one thing that I did say when I was predicting Barnsley to win, is one of those games where, depending who sets up better, they're going to be the team that's going to get the points. And what Barnsley were doing in that game, they had a high line that they had under Ishmael. They tried to formulate that again, almost trying to go back to what they were doing really well with last season, but not with the right manager, with the right disciplines for it. And Hull, what they simply did, they broke forward. They were so energetic going forward, and Hull had chance after chance. If you look at their chances there, 19 shots with 4 on target. Surprisingly, Barnsley actually had more shots on target, but when I looked at the highlight reel, all the really big clear-cut chances were going to Hull's way. George Honeyman got the first goal. It was a good breakaway on the right-hand side. McGuinness getting very involved in that build-up there. Barnsley can't quite clear it, and Honeyman finishes the attack off to make it 1-0 to Hull. And honestly, Collins produced a couple of unbelievable saves, and after they got their second goal from Keane Lewis Potter, a little bit of a similar circumstance, just breaking forward, this time on the left-hand side, and of course in the second half as well. But very poor marking, and especially by Styles actually. He kind of gets dragged back a little bit, and he doesn't notice Keane Lewis Potter free in space, who I definitely think is one of Hull City's best players. He shoots the ball calmly in the net to make it 2-0, and Hull even hit the post, which could have even made it 3-0. This, for me, definitely Hull's best performance so far. Seeing that and the international break has started, it couldn't have come at a worse time for me. I think this could have been Hull's time to really try and get some form together. With Barnsley, definitely they're going to need this international break to find a manager and hit the reset button, because they are in trouble at the moment. And then we saw Reading end a horrific run of form with a really impressive 2-1 away victory over Birmingham. This is a typical Championship result. A Birmingham side who previously won 3 matches in a row, expecting to get 4 wins in a row, play a Reading side that lost 4 games in a row, expecting to lose 5 in a row, and then look what happens. The team who didn't have a good form manages to win in the end. And one hero has to be given to Reading, and that is Jamari Clark. Didn't know too much about him. An academy graduate from Reading, and he's had a couple of substitute appearances, but he's really stepped up his name in this game today. I was so impressed of what I saw of Jamari Clark in the highlight reel. This game was delayed by kickoff due to technical difficulties around the stadium, so a bizarre delay to kick off there. But Scott Hogan got the party started already for Birmingham. Within 3 minutes, he got the opening goal. But Reading were really well improved, especially in the second half. The first half was a little bit samey. It just didn't really fizzle. It looked like Birmingham did look better, but they didn't really quite formulate clear chances. They only had 2 shots on target, of course. Now, Reading, they were very, very patient. They eventually got their flow back and they really capitalised. 2 fantastic goals by Jamari Clark, brilliantly built up as well from the Reading back line as well. And when you can work on goals like that, and considering the squad players they got out as well, it's incredible for the amount of talent this Reading squad has in terms of its depth. So, really good win for Reading. And then who saw this result coming? I mean, I can tell you what, a couple of you predicted a Blackburn win, but I was not expecting Blackburn to beat Sheffield United by 3-1. Now, I know their home form has been pretty good, and I actually did say it in my predictions video, funnily enough, when I was talking about Blackburn, that pretty much all of the other home games, apart from that really horrific game against Fulham, has been completely immaculate, and I probably should have taken that into consideration, but Sheffield United are proving to me to be a bit of a weird team. They kind of thrive in really good spells of the game, but they give up too many chances. They took the lead really, really quickly from Ryan Brewster. Brilliant work by Billy Sharp on the right-hand side. And what an incredible volley by Ryan Brewster. What a way to score your first goal for Sheffield United. It's definitely going to be an unforgettable goal. But unfortunately, he couldn't use that goal to actually elevate Sheffield United to get even more goals. It was pretty much Blackburn just trying to break. They didn't have a lot of the ball and they got back into it. Kandra getting the first goal. Someone that Blackburn bought in. I think he previously played for Brighton, but he scored a brilliant goal. I think it was deflected past the reach of Olsen to make it 1-1. And then in the second half, tactics-wise, it was fantastic work by Blackburn. Ben Brereton Diaz getting the second goal of the game. It was a brilliant teamwork goal, brilliant play on the right-hand side, and a brilliant squared pass to find Ben Brereton Diaz. And the third goal is probably my favourite goal because the skill move that Ian Poveda does to kind of juke Olsen and get the ball into the net. Unbelievable play. Well done, Blackburn and Poveda. It was a fantastic goal and really good performance and a fantastic and almost a perfect response to what they had with their 7-0 drumming against Fulham. Sheffield United, I mean, it's head-scratching at this point. You just don't know how consistent are they going to be. They can be good in stages. They actually hit the post, and I felt Sheffield United had a chance to be quite unlucky not to get more than 1 goal. But it's almost criminal how many chances they give away. They've got to really address that. And then we saw Bournemouth respond in an incredible way from the midweek disappointment as well. They beat Swansea by 4-0. Swansea, who had been improving their form. Now, I think the scoreline is a little bit complimentary to Bournemouth. I think Swansea actually did quite well in spells in this game. But unfortunately, they just couldn't create enough. I actually had the first real big chance of the game, Swansea. But apart from that, when Bournemouth got their flow, when they held the ball, when they were creative in terms of either doing a direct sort of team goal, which they did in their first goal for Dominic Solanke, or a real passing, intricate goal like they did for Dominic Solanke's second goal, Bournemouth are just so incredibly versatile and teams are really going to struggle to try and defend this Bournemouth team when they've got so many tactically adverse approach in terms of trying to score their goals. Jayden Anthony also scored 2 goals. First one a bit fortuitous. Ben Hamer, being a little bit brave playing out from the back. I think Ryan Manning gave the ball away and then Jayden Anthony with a simple they made it 3-0 and then Jayden Anthony scored a better second goal to make it 4-0 to Bournemouth. It's a great win. It keeps Bournemouth on top of the championship, which was good, especially for the fact that Fulham, who are really close behind them now, have also won as well. So Bournemouth and Fulham, it's looking a little bit of a 2-horse race for the top of the championship at the moment. With Swansea, I wouldn't say it's back to square one, but I'd definitely say they've got to be just a little bit careful in terms of playing out from the back because it has cost them. And then Cardiff managed to get their first win under Steve Morrison, his final game as temporary manager, with a 2-1 victory over Huddersfield. Another result on paper that didn't really make sense, and especially when I saw the highlight reel as well, because Huddersfield, when they took the lead, albeit a really horrendous mistake by Mark McGuinness with a really loose back pass and Sinani managing to get a very easy goal. But Huddersfield should have wrapped the game up. They hit the woodwork twice before Cardiff actually managed to score their equaliser. Kiefer Moore managed to rise up from the corner to make it 1-1. But a big shout out for the second goal goes to Isaac Davies, someone I've not seen too much, but he was substituted on for Mark Harris, and he rallied forward in the left-hand side, a brilliant perfect cross. Just what Cardiff were lacking were just runners, energy in their attack. And Isaac Davies had that. Cross came in, and of course, Kiefer Moore delivered to make it 2-1 to Cardiff. Kiefer Moore's goal drought for Cardiff is now over as well, and that might help Cardiff's season as well. With Huddersfield, a bit of a puzzling result, and they've got to be very, very careful not to try and give away these sort of silly games again, especially if they want to be taken seriously, especially if they want to try and get into the top 6. But could be seen as a blow, but for Cardiff's sake, it's good for they ended in a win international break. Now just going to be eager to see who their new manager is. And then an unbelievable game in the Ricoh Arena. We see Coventry win by 3-0 despite going down to 10 men. Coventry have not been guilty of actually showing a couple of really, really exciting games this season. Now, the first goal came round from a penalty, and it was Ian Matson who pushed Callum O'Dowda, denying a clear goal scoring opportunity, so he got a straight red card from that. So Chris Martin stepped up and he scored to make it 1-0, and I thought that was game, set and match in terms of Bristol City's chances here. But Coventry won a penalty. Was it penalty? I don't think so, to be honest. I need to look back at it, but when I saw it first time, it didn't look like there was a lot of challenge there, and Galkus, I think, went down a little bit easily for my liking. Back Gordon stepped up, brilliant penalty to make it 1-1, but almost expectingly, you would think, because of the numerical advantage, Bristol City take the lead again. It was a brilliant strike, it was a good save by Simon Moore, but no one was there to clear the rebound. Andre Weimann was there quickest to make it 2-1 to Bristol City. But this onslaught from Coventry, they were so determined to get something from this game. 2 wonderfully worked goals, one from Callum O'Hare in the 74th minute and from Matt Godden in the 92nd minute. I mean, Matt Godden's got a habit of scoring last minute winners for Coventry in the Ricoh Arena. I remember his 97th minute winner against Reading near the start of the season, and this feels very, very similar once again. Coventry just won't lie down and they stay in the top 6 following this result. In terms of Bristol City, they find themselves in 19th place. For me, quite unlucky in my opinion, but to give away 2 goals having a one-man advantage, bit criminal for me. I definitely think they should have managed the game better. And then Stoke once again with a 1-0 away victory. It's their second away victory in a row, and it's also consecutive 1-0 away wins. And this was a Stoke side that only picked up 5 points away from home in their opening 6 away matches. So they had a horrific away form. But to back it up with 2 back-to-back 1-0 wins, it shows there's a bit of progress there, which I think is very, very encouraging. And following this win, it keeps Stoke in the top 6, which I think is very, very crucial in terms of their season. Luton did fall quite short for me. They were unlucky. They did hit the woodwork when they fell behind, and they did fall behind to a Jacob Brown goal. Now, Sluga, for me, looked like he had a bit of a shaky game. He made a couple of mistakes even before he conceded the goal. Now, do I think Sluga should have saved it? Some people may think he should have saved it, but I think it was a really good half volley by Jacob Brown. It was a good cross by Romain Soares to find Jacob Brown in that area, but Sluga did get a strong hand to him. Maybe he should have done a bit better there, but that's probably a little bit harsh. But if you look at that, Stoke only scored with their 1 shot on target the entire game. But this game was left nothing really to be desired. Only 2 shots on target in terms of Luton Town. Only 12 combined shots out of the 2 teams in the whole 90 minutes, which is almost averaging a shot in every 10 minutes. So, not a really good game to watch. Nathan Jones will be disappointed that he didn't get the victory against his formerly managed club. But for Stoke, they'll be absolutely ecstatic with this win. Is this going to be another blow for Derby's survival chances as they throw away another lead to Millwall? They drew 1-1, and it looks like the dreaded 1-1 draw curse with Millwall has returned finally after 8 games of either having a win or a loss. Now, this game for me was really close in terms of possession, in terms of chances, and in terms of creating chances. Nothing really separated the teams. It was very neck and neck. So I think a draw was the fair result. But the lead was taken by Derby. I knew they didn't have Ravel Morrison, which I know he has not really scored many goals for Derby, but creating the goals, he's very crucial at that. But Festi Ebosele, who has been brought into the squad, someone who doesn't really start too many games, he took his goal very, very well. Brilliant build up to that goal, and I think that was when Derby were slightly the better team on paper. It was a really, really nice goal on his part, but minutes later, and very crucially, just before half-time, Millwall scored to make it 1-1, and I think if Millwall fell behind, it would have been a tougher challenge for them to try and get back into this. It was a very nice goal by Scott Malone, actually, just inside the box. Bottom left-hand corner, past the reach of Kelly Reese to make it 1-1. Now, I think the game really ruined Derby when they went down to 10 men. Do I think it should have been yellow card to red card there? I think the first challenge that Nathan Byrne did was justified, but I think the second challenge was very, very soft to be given a yellow card to, and I think that ruined Derby's momentum. It really made things a little bit calmer, a lot easier for Millwall just to control the game, and they didn't really need to win this game, to be honest. Millwall find themselves in 9th place, which is a good position to find themselves, actually. With Derby, it's a really big blow for them. Another missed opportunity, another lead thrown away as well. They really got to try to be better on not dropping points from winning positions. And then to the City Ground, we see Nottingham Forest beat Preston by 3-0. I mean, this is the typical Championship. You see Preston beating a side like Bournemouth. Bournemouth beat an informed team by 4-0, and then Preston lose to an informed team by 3-0 after beating the leaders. I mean, you can't call any game in the Championship. You really cannot, but it was so one-sided. It was quite unbelievable, to be honest. Chances-wise, it was all Forest, but possession-wise, Preston looked like they tried to keep the ball, which you didn't really see Preston do all that much anyway, so it was a bit of a bizarre change of approach there. It almost seemed like that they were going to try and outplay Forest, which, it's not that easy to do. You're going to have to try and break down Forest, which, under Steve Cooper, a defence-minded manager, is not going to be easy to do. Lewis Grabban got the first goal. It was from a penalty. It was a very clumsy challenge by Benjamin Whiteman. Grabban stepped up and he scored, and it's a big milestone actually for Lewis Grabban, as he's scored 50 goals now for Nottingham Forest, so it's a brilliant achievement on his part, and I actually think he's really starting to get his goal scoring form back a bit, especially with the influence of a great manager like Steve Cooper. He's definitely getting the best out of him, but the best goal without a doubt goes to Jack Kovac. I mean, unbelievable volley. We're getting some unbelievable goals, especially from volleys as well. We had Ryan Brewster, of course, but Jack Kovac's volley was absolutely stunning too. That made it 2-0, and that killed Preston, especially when Nottingham Forest got a pretty quick fire to couple of goals. Overall, I think it was deserved. I definitely think Forest going forward were better. Preston didn't really utilise the ball very well. They weren't really that threatening. You can see Preston can be something extraordinary, but they just not got the consistency, it looks like. With Forest, they managed to take that 1-1 draw to Sheffield United very, very well, respond well with a win. They're nearly at the top half of the table. I think there's good things coming with this Nottingham Forest side. And then we saw Fulham win again to Peterborough by 1-0. Maybe I was a little bit harsh on Peterborough, predicting Fulham would beat them by 4-0. I got to remember that West Brom narrowly beat them by 1-0. In fact, they had to rely on the last kick of the game, actually, for West Brom to beat Peterborough. And of course, they actually drew 0-0 to the current leaders, Bournemouth. So, at home, Peterborough are really not an easy team to play up against. And I gotta say, the first half performance from Peterborough was absolutely outstanding. I was watching the highlight reel, and I was so surprised. Jonathan Clark-Harris didn't score at least once. He had a shot that came off right in the corner of the crossbar there. And Peterborough really gave Rodak a tough game in that first half. But second half, and I remember one of the first really big chances was when the goalkeeper really made a hash of a goal kick, and it really encouraged Fulham to really go at them now. It almost felt like that they now looked like that they were going to be the team really threatening, and as soon as that happened, it was pretty much all Fulham, and then it was only a matter of time when they did get their goal. Neeskens Cabano does really well, crosses the ball, Mitrovic header. It is 1-0. I mean, Mitrovic scored more goals than that whole Peterborough squad combined, and he's already scored 20 goals this season. I mean, there's nothing stopping this guy at the moment. He is really on course to be scoring like an incredible number of goals this season. He made it 1-0 to Fulham, and it turns out that was enough. Now, he actually only had one shot on target. Can you see that? Only one shot on target, only 5 shots in the entire game. Peterborough had 12 chances. 5 on target. So I'm not lying that Peterborough were outstanding for a good portion of that game. They just really did not take their chances, and that, I think, will really be a really cruel defeat for Peterborough based on their performance with Fulham. You know, not their most convincing performance, but it's a win, and they'll take it at this point. And then to a result in the Hawthorns, which cost Neil Warnock his job, a 1-1 draw. Now, I think with the whole scenario going with Middlesbrough, I think the board have planned this. I almost felt that they wanted Neil Warnock to break his record as the most managed games, and then they'd replace him, and it looks like they really did exactly that. If the players had actually won in his record-breaking games, then maybe they might have had a change of thought, but the players really let Neil Warnock down very, very recently. I mean, this was probably their best performance, actually, in quite a couple of games, actually. They took the lead from Josh Coburn, a bit of a defensive mishap, actually, from West Brom's perspective, but Josh Coburn has been doing really, really well recently, getting some really crucial goals for Middlesbrough, but it was pretty much a West Brom onslaught when Middlesbrough took the lead in that game. 72% possession went to West Brom's way. And 4 shots on target, eventually they managed to get the breakthrough. It was a really good half volley by Grady Diangana, actually. And Grady Diangana has been someone who's been taking a little bbit of time to really settle, but I actually think Grady Diangana has been putting his best performances very, very recently for West Brom. This really looked as a blow for West Brom. They really, I felt, should have taken more of their chances with how much they had the ball. They didn't do enough of it. Middlesbrough, you know, showing a bit of the similar signs we see with Neil Warnock, you know, staying really, really tight at the back. How would anyone predict this, that both Mick McCarthy and Neil Warnock both get sacked that early in the season? 2 veteran championship managers. It's just absolutely shocking. And let's actually read the statement for what Middlesbrough put down when they sacked Neil Warnock. The decision was reached after talks between the 2 parties, and Neil leaves the club with the best wishes of all. Neil's assistants Kevin Blackwell and Ronnie Jetson will also depart the club as well. They clearly acknowledge how well he did, especially in their COVID season. It's a bit of a real shame that, you know, he's remembered by that way now. He should have been leaving with a celebration with breaking the record, and unfortunately, and I really hate to say this, but I actually don't really see him finding another club unless, you know, one club is really, really desperate for him now, because I can really see him retiring at this point, and I really hope I'm wrong. But the biggest news that we got today was that Middlesbrough have appointed Chris Wilder as their manager. This man had been linked with many Premier League jobs alongside with Championship jobs. So the fact that Middlesbrough have got him, I think, is a really big coup. Now, this statement just goes to show how much he's achieved. So, he has managed over 1,000 games. He managed to get Oxford out of the conference in 2010. He won the League 2 title with Northampton. And he got Sheffield United up 2 tiers from League 1 to the Premier League. Now, he's got no specific connections with Middlesbrough. I mean, in direct contrast to Sheffield United, where he was a player himself for nearly making 500 appearances. But you can't fault his managerial credentials there. Middlesbrough got a really good manager on their hands. And I definitely think the squad he's got definitely has potential. I definitely think he can get the best out of it. So I'm really excited, actually, to see how they're going to formulate under Wilder. And the final result I'm going to briefly talk about is Blackpool 1, QPR 1. Bit of controversy in this game. So, Blackpool had a goal disallowed from Kenneth Dougal, which looked like a really good goal. It was ruled out for offside since they thought Gary Medine got the final touch in the net, but the ball had crossed the line fully when Medine touched the ball in. So it's a horrendous decision. It should have definitely stood, and Blackpool should have definitely taken the lead. And funny enough, within minutes later, of course, QPR take the lead, and it's a really good goal again. We had some cracking goals this weekend. Chris Willock, left-hand side of the box, bang, from the post and in, unstoppable for Maxwell, made it 1-0 to QPR. Only their 1 shot on target from QPR. It was pretty much Blackpool who were creating the chances, and unfortunately for them, they didn't really formulate anything either. They only had 1 shot on target, which was actually their penalty, which was conceded. I mean, was it a penalty? Yes. I think DN definitely obstructed Gabriel there, denying a goal scoring opportunity there, and maybe a little bit lucky he didn't get too much punishment from it. But Medine stepped up, he redeemed himself for ultimately cancelling Dougal's goal and made it 1-1. Now, following this result, Blackpool found themselves in 10th place, a pretty good season that they're having at the moment, and with QPR, they're still in the top 6, but performance-wise, I think they have dipped a bit, and I think they've got to use this international break now to just kind of rest up a little bit and just review a couple of performances, because I do think the performances have kind of been on this level rather than this level that they were showing at the start of the season. So QPR might have to be a bit wary of their recent performances. So that is my review of Matchday 17 of the Championship. So this is what the table's looking like. So Bournemouth and Fulham are in the top 2, and in the top 6 we've got West Brom, Coventry, Stoke and QPR. Now in terms of the teams in danger, you're definitely going to look at the likes of Peterborough, Hull, Barnsley and Derby. And think about it, recently Barnsley and Hull have recently won a game, so they're really closing the gap on Peterborough now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this relegation battle forms. That'll wrap it up for my review video today. If you guys enjoyed it, please give the video a like. It does tremendously help the channel. Please do hit that subscribe button if you have not done so. It does really help. And please share this video to as many people as you can. All of that really helps. But that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary for Sonny in this video. And as always, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care.